Hey all you indigent people out there watching this video. I have a repair job, a simple repair job to do. And repair might not even be the right word, but I'll show you what the problem is. How's that? This is my problem. This is a World War II, 1942 Tokarev. 1942 Tokarev. It has the emergency wood grips as opposed to the cast plastic grips. And you'll see the advantage of plastic over wood. These ones actually are held up quite well with time. For a bit of decent checkering on these things. Nice and firm here. A little wiggly, but firm. The other side, no es bueno. I don't know how to say that in Russian, but someone tell me to say it in Russian and I'll say it in Russian. These are no good. Not okay. That's how I say it in Russian. So, we're going to, first of all, show you how to take these grips off, which is quite simple. There's a little, just see that glint of silver there. That's a little bar. And what you do is you just slide that bar. So that's what you're looking at right there, that tip. And the whole thing just rotates, like so. Into that little hole there. And my screwdriver bit falls out into the gun. What I don't want to do is gouge into the metal itself. So I'm just using the very edge of the screwdriver. Now this part doesn't have to come off for the repair job, but there's the other piece. There's the strip grit. That's your transfer bar. So, how am I going to repair this? My first thought was to try to bend that little tab over, but I found out pretty quick this is an incredibly hard piece of metal and you're not bending that. Not without destroying the grip. So, throw that idea in the garbage. A fix that would work to keep it from jiggling, but would be very temporary, would be I could shim it. So just cut a thin piece of like feeler gauge metal or something like that and just shove it under there and it will tighten up and hold it down. I want something a little more permanent, but I don't want it to be too invasive. So what I'm going to be using today is something you've seen me use before in one of my videos, but I'm going to go back to the acrylic gel. Not the same as acrylic glass, same company, not the same. Acrylic gel is just as it says, it's a gel, so it's much thicker. We'll take a look at the contents here. Instructions, of course. This is the release agent. We're going to be needing that. And then you have two components. You have this, can't tell, that's it. Ugh, sticky icky. So this has already been pre-mixed. It comes with coloring, brown and black. I just took the advice I've heard from other people and said that you don't really want to use the brown because it kind of stands out. So that's the brown there. So I just mixed the entire content of the black into there, pre-mixed it. It saves me time on projects like this. It's a two-part, but the first thing you want to do is you want to get a resist onto the grip. And the resist is kind of what it says. What it does is it stops the epoxy from sticking. If it were to stick, your grip is on there permanently. So I'm going to grab some stuff to mix this up and I'll show you how it's done. Alright, step one. I'm just going to clean the metal with this to make sure that it doesn't have any problems with my resist. Acetone, nasty stuff. Be careful with it, guys. I will always give you this warning because I've had some bad times with this. It's incredibly flammable. I've had it ignite from over 4 feet away from an open flame on a project I was working on. My project, not my flame. So it's highly flammable. The other part about it too, the particles in acetone are so fine. They can be absorbed through your skin, so prolonged contact with bare skin will result in poisoning, which is not what I think anybody wants. So this is the resist here. It's a blue liquid. It's about the thickness of maple syrup, and you just want to put a coat wherever you were worried that the glue might touch. I haven't decided how much glue I'm going to use or specifically where. I'm probably just going to put it along one edge. Get along, coat in there, coat there. This stuff won't damage your pistol in any way or your metal. This is what it's designed for. Acra glass is actually used for glass bedding, hence the name glass, as opposed to using traditional fiberglass. It has a higher tensile strength than fiberglass, but more importantly, it has a matter of give to it. So during recoil, it will absorb some of the shock as opposed to just snapping or breaking off, something what fiberglass would do, or aka standard resin epoxy. So that's got to dry. Also have to mix this up. So now the key is you want this dry. So hopefully that will be dry enough by the time I'm done mixing. You do have a fair bit of pot life on this, so I wouldn't be too concerned. But be aware that there is a limited work time you have with this. I'm not going to use much. I don't believe in wasting material simply because you have it. And you can get more of it doesn't mean you should waste it. So now that I have that dollop, I don't want to contaminate my black. So I'll just snip the dirty piece off. I'm going to get my black resin out. I want equal amounts as much as possible. If you get it wrong, it's not going to be a major problem. What ends up happening is you change the time it takes for it to set. So if you don't use enough of one, you're going to slow down the setting time. I don't know which is the catalyst and which is the resin, but if you get the ratio wrong, it's either going to slow down your drying time or speed it up. So try to get as close as possible. So I got the heat dryer. It's going to get noisy. I'm just going to heat up this epoxy a little bit. Alright, epoxy's been heated. It should be a lot easier to mix now. I highly recommend just heating it slightly. It makes a big difference. So I say I don't want to waste material. I can tell you right now, this is more than I need. So much for not wasting stuff, but mix it till it's an all even. Clean that part off. Pick up some fresh stuff. Like I said, I wanted to use this very sparingly because I don't want it to go onto this face here. This face has some texture to it, so even with the release, it could be a very tricky thing. Now, it's okay if it overlaps. Just don't rub it into the wood along the outside edge. Filling to do the job, but you don't want so much that it's squirting out the sides. I'm going to leave this grit panel off on the other side because my concern is this is going to be hard to get off, and I'll be able to get like a large punch or a large piece of wood or something like that and knock it off in an even manner. Carefully. Carefully. Not using too much pressure. I'm going to just hold it in place. What I want to do is I want to flip that little doodad over. So now that's over. I'm not seeing any bleeding coming in here, so that's a good sign. Doesn't mean there isn't any at all, but doesn't mean there's an excess. Right now, that grip isn't going to move, so what I want to do now is just leave it to set. That's it. Just leave it to set. Don't do any more, guys. You're done. Don't screw around. Don't poke it. Leave it alone. And we'll take a look at it in the morning. Alright, 24 hours later, and we're back to the hard part, which is going to be taking the grip off of this thing now that the glue has set. So, here's the mixing thing. Pretty hard. Alright, so I'm going to flip that switch back. And it's starting to come a little bit. There we go. Popped right off. Check out the pistol part here. I will say if you're using acetone and you're using a polymer grip, be very careful, because acetone will dissolve plastic. It actually makes a pretty good glue. It can chemically bond plastic together like a weld. So you can get an idea of a little bit of glue pieces that are here. This ain't pretty from the outside. It could use some trimming along here. So very carefully take a sharp knife. And remember, I didn't rub this in, so all I'm doing is just cutting the edge. Trying not to get any of the wood, as much as possible, that is, at least. Give it a little bit of a scrape. These kind of repairs, I actually don't mind myself. Simply because... So I can just see a bit of a shininess on it I don't like, so I'm just scraping that off. And I don't want to scrape the wood itself, simply because you're going to get a different coloration. Nope, that's varnish. Alright, so I say that grip has been cleaned and ready to go. Alright, now for what was the problem grip before. Get back up in there, slide that bar over. That grip is firm. Mission accomplished. And feels much better. No rattle. Alright guys, I hope you liked that little video there on a quick fix to a grip. You can see there's, well, you can't see because I'm not showing you. You can see there is no real sign there was anything ever done. That discoloration along there, that's kind of always been there. It's just where it rubs up against the metal. You can burnish it down. And it has a lot to do with the lighting. This thing's in bright sunlight right now. It's a sunny day out. So I hope you guys liked and enjoyed. If you can enjoy something like this. But anyways, please like, subscribe, and I'll show you some more videos on quick repairs and simple maintenance. Thanks again, guys.